What is up, nerds? Steve here with SAK Incorporated to remind you to follow us on the social media platforms. That's right, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us there at SAK Incorporated. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for SAK Incorporated and pressing that sweet, sweet little button. And don't forget to send us emails at sackingpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear your thoughts, your comments, questions, concerns, neuroses, and psychoses. Give us your opinion on things we've talked about previously, or give us suggestions for topics to talk about in the future. That's sackingpodcast@gmail.com.
I actually do have stuff we can talk about for Game SAK, RE, Far Cry 4, and I've been playing Fire Emblem again.
Nice. And I did after our conversation the other day.
Yeah, you know, maybe we should just do Game SAK now.
Okay, all right. So let us. Do we have? I mean, I have some stuff here. A lot of it's just going to be talking about the games we liked in 2014 and what we're looking for in 2015. It's probably
well. I can already see Microsoft accepting Bitcoins as currency alive. I think we could get a good 10 minutes out of that because that seems fucking absurd to me.
I think Bitcoin in general is stupid.
No, I think cryptocurrency has a pretty interesting, it can work. The problem is that's like saying Microsoft will just accept penny stocks on live. Because the price fluctuates so much,
that's what I'm saying. If you look at actual currency and their rates going up and down, the currency that's had the largest losses this past year is Bitcoin.
Yep. Okay, hang on. So let's introduce ourselves first. All right, welcome to Game SAK. I am Steve.
I'm Madison.
And I'm Ken.
And we are here to bring you all the gaming news that is in the world today, or a little bit of it. It's a new year, and we were just in the middle of talking about Bitcoins. So essentially, pretty much first thing up is that Microsoft is now accepting Bitcoins as currency on Xbox Live that you can use to purchase games, and it was a secret update that they did, essentially. They didn't really talk about it in the news. It just got slipped in there as an update.
Well, I mean, they love money, and it's just another way for them to get it.
So you were saying that Bitcoin has had the biggest losses this year.
Well, I would also assume it also had the biggest gains since it just fluctuates insanely all the time. You probably would not see anything that would go up as much in one day and go down as much.
I think the big thing is Bitcoin essentially is not a stable currency.
No.
So it seems odd that you would, as Microsoft, be willing to let people purchase items with not a stable currency.
Well, they're basically letting Microsoft is letting people pay in stocks, right? Their hope is that people are gonna give us their Bitcoins or whatever, and then we'll just be able to sell them when they're higher or something. It's either that or Microsoft is going whole hog on the idea that cryptocurrency is going to become a regulated.
That's what it seems more to me, is that somehow they think that Bitcoin or some kind of other cryptocurrency is going to become some kind of new fad or new wave of currency. That just seems like a dumb bet to me.
Well, I don't think it's a dumb bet. I just think it's a dumb bet right now. The whole point of Bitcoin is that there is a definitive and absolute amount of Bitcoins that can be generated through the algorithm that they have.
Yeah. So I mean, for those who don't know, what is Bitcoin essentially? Bitcoin, as I understand it, is that you essentially turn your CPU resources towards solving an algorithm, and if you can solve this massive equation, you get a Bitcoin. But it takes an exponentially increasing amount of time.
People have different ways that they do it, but essentially you generate hashes based on this algorithm, and once you have a hash that is generated the right way, I haven't looked at Bitcoin stuff in a long time. We talked about that in my crypto class 5 years ago, but yeah. I don't remember that much anymore. But essentially, it's a way that you make money by just having your GPU do math. Mm-hmm. The problem is it's also a logarithmic return. So in the beginning, people were you got Bitcoins every 20 seconds or something because the hash chain for generating Bitcoin was still so new. there's only a finite number that can ever be generated. So now we're at the point where like most of them have, and so now it takes people building like $3,000 like 20 GPU ATX boards all super slide together to generate one in a couple of months or a year or something. So
that's my thing. It's a currency with a finite number. Like there's a finite amount of it, so therefore just the predictability of such a currency is just absurd.
It'll just be one value eventually, though, right? I mean, once all of them are generated, there's no what point is there?
That's my point. So
it's essentially like Addison kind of mentioned. It's a stock, right? So once you have
right now, it acts like a stock because
and then once all of them are found.
To be honest, not even a stock. It's more like a commodity, in my opinion, like
oil,
or gold or oil or something. It's a rare resource that people want. That you fluctuate. The prices fluctuate based on the availability and the supply, right? So if one, bro dog is making with his 500 CPUs in on Alaska, is mining GPUs. My bad.
What would you do with 500 CPUs?
Yeah, 500 CPUs. But yeah, he's making he's mining all those bitcoins up there. Like he decides, like, well, I'm just gonna keep them. It's like, what you gonna do? Like, all right.
But he's gonna keep them and hope that they appreciate it.
Well, until they all come out, and then everything he has is worthless.
The thing about Bitcoin that lends it to being valuable is it's actually relatively fraud proof. Like, you can tell with almost no issues, like, where this Bitcoin was generated and who it's passed through, just by the way that you transfer Bitcoin to someone else and how they're generated. Like, every time you create a Bitcoin, you essentially sign a massive ledger with your name, and when you give it to someone else into their Bitcoin wallet, you sign that transaction by just giving them the money. So it's essentially like if every time I gave you $1, it would have a giant glowing fingerprint of mine with my face next to it forever.
Mined by Addison.
Yeah.
So which,
but there's a finite amount, and even if we haven't reached that point yet. Like any commodity, you can control the value of that. So if you own 80% of the Bitcoins, you will jack the price up of the remaining 20 if people want the Bitcoins that badly. At some point in time, it's like, well, let's just not trade on this commodity. Like,
yeah,
it's not worth.
And
like,
is that what causes it to bottom out? So once
that's
you
because
find
that's what causes like any commodity, right? Supply and demand. So like oil right now is going crazy because the Saudis have just flooded the market with all this oil.
Well, it's going crazy in a downward direction.
Right. Well, it's going crazy.
There's way more supply.
There's super more supply, so prices are just dropping like crazy because anyone and their mom can get oil now because Saudis are like oil for everyone, and they're gonna.
I'm so glad they did that.
And they're gonna eat the red, knowing that it's just wrecking the rest of the world. So the thing with Bitcoins is like if it's not only is it a commodity, it's a limited commodity. That's even like crazier. Like eventually there's going to be a point where it's like there's going to be no value in it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just
because like rarity.
Maybe this is more poignant for SAK Up, but I really wish that Saudi Arabia would come out and say why they did that. Because if I had to take a guess, it's that we came to them because we're strangely enough super good friends with Saudi Arabia, and we're like, hey, you should just flood the market with oil to fuck Russia.
Oh, you think so? I don't know.
After 50 years, we'll finally
but what do they have to gain?
They've done this. Well, they knock out all the competition. So you've got Saudis sitting here, and they've been the ruler of oil for like forever.
Well, them in Iraq.
Yeah, and so I mean, do we want to go into this, or do you want to go into?
We'll go into that on. We'll go into that on.
Yeah,
we'll do that on SAK Up. Okay, but so essentially, they're accepting Bitcoin. They're a little late, right? Because the Bitcoin boom. When the value of a Bitcoin peaked at like $1,200.
Long story for me, I just think that it's not a viable. Like maybe for maybe even a couple years, they maybe to get some usage out of this. But it just seems like Microsoft, what's the point? Like how many users after how many 100 million people use Xbox Live, right?
Yeah.
Say that many people use it.
Not even
what
that
percentage?
many.
Yeah, what percentage?
What
percentage is going to be using Bitcoin to pay? Like 0.001%, like all 1,000 people that have the technological wherewithal to like.
I tried to buy a Dogecoin. Not fucking easy to do. Super hard because you have to tie your bank account, which already makes you nervous. Like you have to basically go to like a Bitcoin vault, tie your personal bank account to it, and then have them like deposit and withdraw like 2 cents so that they know it's real, then you can buy a Dogecoin.
Well, that's just like starting up any account at a bank or like PayPal or shit like that. So
it's just like it's not easy to do though. So that's what's going to limit it ultimately, is because my grandmother will never be able to buy Bitcoin.
Well, even Addison could probably get Bitcoin right now if he really wanted to, could do his own thing, but it's like, or
probably not. He'd need like $900 to buy Bitcoin.
I have $900.
Well, so yeah, you could buy Bitcoin.
I'm saying he could like mine his own Bitcoins if he wanted to. So for people who are like, I don't want to spend cash, so let me go do what Addison's doing and get my PCU, convert it into this Bitcoin mining machine, spend like 40 hours doing this, and I'm gonna have like 5 Bitcoins. I'm gonna buy my game, or I could just spend $5 and buy it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the interesting
it's like
thing
a novelty.
too.
It just seems like a novelty.
Are they gonna start tracking Bitcoin evaluation stats? Like, are you going to see the price change on screen for
this
Bitcoins?
game is 10 Bitcoins today, and in 5 minutes it'll be 4 Bitcoins. Hurry, buy now.
It could be.
I don't think so. I think what it'll be is that it'll just be the dollar amount. So because you can pay with bits of Bitcoin. You like with Bitcoin bytes, essentially,
shaving off.
Like
it's gold.
As if you had literally shaved some code or something off of Bitcoin. So you can say like people will sell something like a game. So a Bitcoin's $315 right now is what it's trading for on the open market. So a game that's like $5, you'd be like, I will trade. You're essentially saying, I will trade you this game for 1/30th of a Bitcoin or whatever it is, or 1/60th. Or however much.
I don't know. I think.
Call me a skeptic.
I think this is either Microsoft trying to find out if it's viable to create a back end that can accept payment for cryptocurrency, because they don't do that anywhere else, like Microsoft doesn't. So it's either them trying to set that in place, because Bitcoin's not the only cryptocurrency. There's Dogecoin. There's a whole slew of algorithms that came out right around when the feds were trying to decide if they wanted to like have actual regulation of it or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's either a test bed for seeing if cryptocurrency is like a viable way for people to barter with, essentially, or it's literally someone at Microsoft was just like, I think this is a cool idea and I'm passionate about it. I'm going to put it in Xbox.
That's just what it sounds like to me.
I think that's what it was. I think it was some engineer who was like, this would be really cool. Let's just see if it can happen.
Well, it's a very googly-in thing to do, right?
I think it's almost more of a, like a perception kind of thing. Like, oh, hey, we're Microsoft. We're like hip. We're cool. We're gonna like, like, hey guys, like we take Bitcoins now.
No, so like Microsoft's trying to be Apple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Sony doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably, to me, that's what more like sounds like. I don't think they're gonna actually make any real money off this. I think it might just be solely like a, hey, like gaming community. We know like a bunch of people game are really into like stuff like this, and we now accept Bitcoin, so like come to us.
And by a bunch of people, it's like 10,000.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you're so into it that you're mining this shit, you're probably willing to like, oh, Microsoft, I love you forever. Like,
maybe.
So, have you guys ever heard of Unexpected Thug Life? By the way,
no, that just sounds
I think
awesome.
so.
It's basically, there's a subreddit about it, but it's basically like when people will take videos of just random stuff, and then of like kids being a badass or whatever, like that. You know, the kid where he's like, "Hello, motherfucker!" Like the little kid.
I don't know that one.
Okay, you gotta find that one. But they'll do that, and then they'll freeze frame and like zoom in on the person while playing like gin and juice from the doghouse and shit. Like, so you want to be a gangster? And it's just this little kid's face like zooming in on you. Oh,
have you
God.
seen?
They did one of Bill Gates, because there's a video of him where he just fucking jumps over a chair when he's younger.
Yeah,
like he's just like woohoo. And they did one of that where he's flying there. He's like this. It's like, so you want to be a gangster?
There's a video online somewhere of a guy. This guy goes in and robs the store, and this was somewhere in like St. Louis or something like that. Like, guy like rolls in and he's like waving a gun around like crazy, like he's robbing this convenience store, and this old black dude comes in like dressed all in white with like a gold chain, and he just like walks right past the robber, not paying any attention to him. The robber turns, points the gun at the guy's head, and then the guy's just like knocks away and keeps walking. It's just like Thug Life. This is like a boss. Okay, so yeah, Bitcoin probably not ever going to have anything. They'll probably remove it the same way that they added it, which is by
or they might just keep it on there. But just I don't think Microsoft like had their planning meeting one day and they're like, hey guys, great idea, huge way to grow our company, Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
It was, I can guarantee it was just some engineer had free time and wanted to sneak something in.
some engineer was bothering the head guy at
You know,
Microsoft, and the head guy's like, "Okay, fine, dude, just go do your
you
thing,
get
whatever."
to do that. I mean, people don't understand, but if you have extra time and you have like a feature that you think is cool, that maybe it's like not necessarily on access for what your requirements say.
Yeah.
I will just put it in there because
Well, Google has something. They have like a writ in their employment thing that's like
You have to spend like 20 hours a week or something doing your own
it's-
project or something like that.
It's like a percentage of your time they actually make.
20%,
Employees,
maybe it's
like,
20% of
They're
your
like,
time.
go do
Yeah.
origami or something.
Yeah, I think it's like
come back. You know.
Well, because it
Yeah, like
fosters
20% of your time.
creativity. I mean, I would fucking love if they did that at my work.
Yeah.
Because instead, when I'm like need to do work but I'm not inspired, I just have to do it, and it suffers. I can't like just walk away from it and do something else for a while because I have one fucking project.
Yeah.
So I just kind of get to be there in misery for a bit.
And Google is very much like a super. They're just like, I guess, like a place. The depiction of them is as of a place that they're just always willing to try new things. Like they have nap pods, so their employees can just go like once they hit like 3 o'clock and they all crash at the usual like 3 o'clock. You know how it's like in the middle of the day you get that energy low and you're just tired and you need a nap. They have nap pods and you just go and like and like lock yourself into this nap pod and take a nap.
Well, they did it right, and I mean, unfortunately, they're the only company that can really do it. But they understand that proper creative investment in your employees, you will get more out of it. Like Gmail, Google Web Toolkit, a lot of Google's primary products that they have right now that are not search engine were just people at Google in their spare time. Like, I think that Hotmail is a shitty service, and I'd like to make a better one.
Yeah.
Gmail, And it doesn't always work out. I mean, that Google, what was it called? That like older version of Hangouts, Wave or whatever, Google Wave.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out, but they probably recycle a lot of that code into Hangouts or whatever, and now it's just the de facto chat function in Google's suite of products. So,
And I'm impressed with Google today because I mean right before we started recording this, I fucking forgot the passwords to all of our accounts and for the SAK Inc. stuff because I made it 3 weeks ago and then I haven't had to use it. And I gave them my phone number. They called me in less than 5 seconds.
well, they auto called you.
Yeah. And so then I pressed a button and it rang twice and I was talking to someone who was probably from India, right? Like it sounded like an outsourced call, but
I heard a tad of British in there, so it might have been a
Something.
British Indian.
Yeah, the British colonies. But she spoke
went to Oxford, came back to Delhi, works in a call center.
Yeah,
Perfect job, right?
She speaks like this lady that I spoke to she's superlative English. I could understand everything she was saying.
Yeah, that's
And
hilarious.
they fixed my problem in like 10 minutes, and that's a free service. You don't pay for Gmail; it's free.
I'm just surprised they didn't send you like a little code and like enter this code to verify who you are.
Well, I
Instead,
didn't have
sent
any verification stuff on there because I just made that account once. So the only thing I had was the password. And so I was like, I don't know what to do here. They're like, they asked me when I had created it and what the ISP I used and where I had made it was. And then they sent that off, and 2 minutes later their tech department was like, yes, this is right, we have this in our massive database. So I don't know, I'm super impressed with them. Because that's a free service. Like, it's not like I paid $50 for a Gmail account. Like, they don't have to give me great customer service.
See,
on the
I will say, like, do you pay for any email account? They all should be
in the 90s you did for AOL. Right?
Well, but you also got a
but-
disc in every fucking box of cereal that
Thousands
was
of
another
them.
2 weeks of email and internet. So, like,
Kimmy and I watched Stepford Wives the other day. Have you ever seen that movie?
no.
It's the one. Do you know so the premise is essentially that this couple moves to Connecticut to this suburb called Stepford, and all the women there are super perfect. And you basically find out they're all robots, and all the men there, there's these super hot like sex bomb women married to these super nerdy dudes who look like they founded Microsoft. And so the idea
Bird Gates.
and so it's the fundamental idea is that they essentially
Just made their women.
they made all their women, and I forget where I was going with that story.
Okay.
Alrighty
let's
then.
move on.
So, on off Google.
But it was not a terrible.
So what you're saying is Google's going to have a process that allows you to make your own wife in the near future.
Oh, hopefully. I don't know. Have your own
We may want to
Waifutron?
move on to the next
Well, yeah,
one.
so yeah,
I
we'll
think
move
we
on,
actually have
we're
a
getting
personal
sidetracked.
story of somewhat hilariousness surrounding
Hilarious
the
heroics. Godhood. Okay, so moving on. So the The GameCube adapter for the Wii U is like impossible to find, and in fact, they might discontinue it. And there's been a lot of rumors going around over the course of the last month that
Nintendo's going crazy.
That Nintendo has essentially they did all this, they brought all these products out for Super Smash Brothers, and then have immediately discontinued them. And tied into this is
it's the amiibos.
Yeah, they've discontinued the Villager Marth and the Wii Fit Trainer amiibos already. And they're going to cancel more of them because they're basically only going to keep the amiibos that sell the most in production. But the game's only been out for 5 weeks.
Something
and
like that.
The amiibos came out 2 weeks after the game or something like that. So, I don't know. So your thoughts? So we'll tell the heroic story of how we got our GameCube adapter for the Wii U, which is I managed to find it on Best Buy's website the night before the game came out. And they were like, you can reserve it, just prepay for it here. So I paid for it, it's $20. Rolled into the store the next day with you guys, and I go up to the service counter, and the lady's like, "Oh, we're sold out. Sorry." Like, even though we had all of these, and you prepaid for it, we're sold out. And I was like, "Oh," and so I'm like pissed at this point because I understand how that works.
Paid money for it.
Yeah, like when I worked at GameStop, they would do that. They would do that where they basically would oversell. So they would cut to like 20% of the reserves that we would take, we would sell those because there was about 20% of people who didn't pick theirs up. So I don't know if Best Buy did the same thing, but they're like, yeah, we're sold out. We've been sold out for the entire day. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to find one. And she's like, wait, what's your name? So I give her my name, and she like goes back and looks, comes back, and she's like, this one is here for some reason, so you get yours. And so we got ours and got to go home and play Smash with the GameCube controllers. But since then, people haven't been able to find them at all.
I'm curious if it's like, are they just giving up?
It might just be a production issue. I don't know, because I've been reading around and basically the Smash Bros. Sales have like doubled Wii U sales.
Yeah,
you know, like it's been a huge success. So it's not like they didn't make any money, and they're like,
Mario
oh, we
Kart
should just
came out, right?
Yeah.
That was their other. It doubled the Wii U sales then, and then Smash came out, the actual game that matters.
Well, it's not like they didn't make any money off this stuff, so it's not one of the things where it's like, oh well, we expected like huge sales and don't buy anything, so we're just gonna cut this.
It's
stuff.
the opposite.
It's the opposite.
They just didn't make enough.
Yeah, maybe it's just like reverse. Like, hey, like let's just limit the supply so low that these things, I don't know, just become even more valuable.
Well, I think they underestimated how. Smash changed the fucking game for them. You can look at their when like Reggie's talking to his shareholders or whatever. He's like, yeah, we Smash has made like a hallmark year for Nintendo, and we didn't really expect as much success, and so we're hoping to the stars. Yeah. I don't know. I hate to think that they were. I could see underproduction for the GameCube controller adapter because maybe you just didn't think it was going to sell that much.
I think
but the amiibos, you're setting up your whole enterprise to be games to life or whatever that stupid fucking Disney Infinity shit is.
Yeah,
they're trying to make that part of their model now, but then they're breaking it. They're like, no,
I can see
people.
I can see with the amiibos though, kind of what you're saying. Like, how many people who play? There are a lot of people that play Smash. There's a lot of people that bought Smash. But how all those people who are going to buy amiibos? Like, are you guys going to buy amiibos? Like, are we going to buy amiibos?
I wanted they weren't super fucking expensive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No,
they're $13.
That's
$13. That's a lot of money for a
plastic figurine with morphing AI that learns and can play the game. That to me is super cheap. It's got AI built into it.
AI's not that hard to build.
Yeah,
AI is in more stuff.
Come on, $13. That might be the cheapest AI you'll ever buy.
It doesn't seem worth it to me. And so I think in general, maybe they're sitting here going, okay, well, there's like how many characters in Smash? Like 30, 40? Like,
isn't it like 1,000 now?
Yeah, probably 1,000. Infinite number. Okay, anyways, there's a ton of characters, of which a lot of them,
it's like 10 rows of
100. A lot of them can't be used in other games. So like, I heard, they're coming up with a new Kirby game. And so like the Kirby amiibo, yeah, that's perfect. You can use it in Smash. You could also use it in your new like Kirby Travels the Stars and looks for other things to eat game. Yeah. And
Kirby as Galactus.
The World Eater.
The pink World
Eater. The silver DDD.
Just like on his surfboard.
Yeah. He's on his hammer. He's just on his hammer and just flying. Yeah, but so like maybe I can just see them like, hey, we like, you know, what, the Mr. Game & Watch amiibo or the
God,
whatever.
I want
The
that.
best amiibo.
Okay, well, we all know he's a dark god, so he
Amiibo
has
Lord.
a special place in our hearts. But, you know, or even like Wii Fit Trainer or whatever. Like, so I can
The
see them.
hottest amiibo.
Guy or female, but both.
Yes.
Anyways,
No.
But yeah, so your argument is that not that many people will buy them. So you think
I'm
that
saying
they're
for the lower end characters, I could see them for the production. Like, they can make all these amiibos and no one's gonna buy them, and especially if they saw their sales not be that high after the first 2 weeks for like the less known characters of Smash Bros. I could see them saying like, yeah, we're just gonna keep the amiibos that can go into other games later. So there's like a dual fit purpose there. Like for Mario, there's always gonna be a Mario game. There's always gonna be a Luigi game. There's always gonna be a Kirby
Link
game, a Samus game, a
I
Link
guess
game.
for me, what my hope was they have a Marth amiibo. Are we going to see another fucking not good Fire Emblem, i.e. one that has like Marth in it? Because I mean, I would hope that they would.
Has there been a repeat emblem with the same
No,
characters?
There needs to be a fucking repeat emblem with Marth and Roy in it. Which isn't just the GBA version, which has like Hector and Elwood in it.
To be honest, that was my first one. I actually liked that.
That was it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that at that point, when I had started playing it, like Melee was out and Martha's and Roy, and I was like, shit, yeah, these guys are cool. And I bought it on that premise, and I was stupid. I didn't fucking look it up. But Hector and Elwood, not Marth and Roy. And
yeah, but I love that game. Although to be honest, nothing's more horrifying than like training your people up for so long and then having some bad crit just wreck your person. Be like, I have to shut this game off and restart this fight and put another 2 hours into this game.
For me, it ends up being fucking. Any flying character is just an accident waiting to happen.
What was her name? Like Flora?
I don't
that
know the ones in that.
The Pegasus Shredder had? Yeah, she just got like an archer has just wrecked her.
That's my problem. Is like even in the one I'm playing right now, I started on hard because I thought I would challenge myself. Not a great idea. The second I got one of the Pegasus riders, I like messed up one square of placement and some archer. There's the whole enemy mass at the top of the fucking map, and one archer just runs way out ahead because he knows he's getting the kill. And she's like, yeah! And they do the really slow death animation, and I just was like cracking my DS in half. So I fucking restarted the whole game. But
how far in were you?
Only a couple chapters. But
well, we know that Nintendo, ever since the Wii had its very unexpected success in 2005 when it came. Yeah, 2005 when it came out.
Like that.
They have, in my opinion, attempted to create scarcity because they were like, oh, this old business model of just having scarcity for a product people want works. Like, I mean, people were like getting killed over the Wii when it was when it came out. Yeah, pretty much. And they just and I think ever since then, Nintendo has tried to create scarcity with its product. So maybe you're right. Like maybe they are just trying to create scarcity.
I don't think it's scarcity.
There's a lot of Wii's out there that aren't getting.
I just think they looked at it and were like, we're not going to make any money off the
villager
amiibo. Just what it seems like to me. I don't know. I was never
the people who bought it like.
I think that amiibo sales in general are not going to be. Like, it's not going to be, like, a driving factor for Nintendo. Like, 2014 was our best year ever because, like, $1 billion amiibos came in.
10 billion amiibos.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is that
it's like an interesting idea, but to me, it's ultimately going to be novelty. Like, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to buy my Wii U for the first time, I'm going to get a game, I'm maybe get another controller, and then I'll be like, I'm not going to be there when the amiibo like stands up there and be like, I needed my amiibo too.
Well, and they haven't released all the amiibos yet either. They've only released the first wave. The second wave is going to include like Mario and Little Mac and a bunch of other characters.
Is it now?
So,
Are they going to have a second wave if they're just fucking shitting on?
No, they definitely have.
Also, you got to think though, like Nintendo has consistently catered toward Japan. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah,
so you wonder if just they made a bunch of amiibos and it's just too much of a hassle to get production up in America. And like the rest of the world, and because they've done that before for a lot of products too, where like a game, like what was that one game? It was an RPG game that came out in Japan and was supposed to be slated for America, but yes, Pokemon never made it to America, Steve. We're all just playing Japanese knockoffs. But there was some kind of RPG. It's supposed to be really good.
Was it like a
SMT or something? Shimigami Tensei?
Like the last song or something like that. Like the last song, the last fighter, or the last feather. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know.
It was like a really big hit, and they're just like it's just too much of a hassle to try to translate this, to modify it and ship it and find distribution in America. Like, we're just not going to bother with it.
Well, but here's the thing.
So it just seems like that's why they can do that.
No excuse anymore. I buy all of my games on the Nintendo shop.
That's true. I mean, it's
translate it, put it on the goddamn Nintendo store. I will fucking buy it.
So fine.
Even if it's translated by someone who knows like half.
Well, this was for the Wii. This was for the Wii U, and that was for that game. But I'm just saying, from amiibo is a physical item that needs to be put in shops. They're gonna be like, GameStop has to be like, we want this in our store, right? Nintendo can be like, take our amiibos.
That's the weird thing, is that GameStop is saying,
doesn't just come like, you gotta sell our shit now. They don't have the big dick enough for that.
But that's the thing, is that
sometimes
GameStop
they do,
is saying, we want these things, give us more, and Nintendo's like,
I'm just saying,
it's the Infinity,
but just production, just all that stuff. It could just be, I'm not just all like theoretical, but it could just be, hey, this is too much of a hassle to try to get over here to the US. It's not going to make that much money for us in the long run. Evidently, in AI. We're making an AI for them. We're only charging $13. Maybe it's cost. Maybe their margins are pretty slim. Who knows?
Cheapest AI.
I'm just saying. So,
wait, so I guess now that I think about it, you realize AI is not on the fucking amiibo, right?
It's probably
in the game itself.
It's just the amiibo,
but it's $13 for AI access.
It's $13 for a chip and a plastic figurine.
This is the character and level of this amiibo, and it's owned by this person, or in the name. So, 20 bytes of information.
As for the GameCube controller, I'm not really
sure. I don't know. Sonic Amiibo would be pretty sick, I think. Even just for the statue aspect of it.
I want a Home Economics Pac-Man.
Well, we all want Home Economics
Pac-Man. Or a fucking...
Shit and watch?
Bowser Jr. and his Mark 7.
Mark 7.
What were you going to say, Ken?
Oh, I don't know. I have no interest in Amiibo, so...
Yeah,
I'm probably why... I don't know, $13, that's... Yeah, it's a lot of money, son.
Okay, so let's do the only other item that I have on here specifically.
Wait, hold on. Go down. Origin sucks. Okay.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so Origin, I think most people know this, but we had to really experience this firsthand over Christmas. Origin sucks.
I'm so used to using Steam and all the just Steam in all its glory, and so now that I have Dragon Age 3, you have to run this through Origin, which is, to me, I like thinking about it as Steam's shitty, redheaded step cousin.
It is.
And it's got zero functionality. It literally, all it's there is to just be like a virus to your computer. Multiple times my game has to start up because, Origin's trying to update something else, or Origin's just like...
So, I found out the reason why we're having all those crashes in Dragon Age. It's because Origin in-game is on. Or the fucking service... Like the Steam overlay when you shift tab, that crashes Dragon Age. And the thing that sucks is I would turn it off and that will fix all the problems. Except I can't play with Canada. You can't invite friends unless you use their overlay.
It's just so bad. I will click on Dragon Age 3 and literally my game will not boot up.
Yep.
And then I will have to alt tab, look at my processes, and realize that for some reason there's a second instance of Origin has started running. I have to end the process for Origin, end the process for Dragon Age, end the process for the first Origin, and then start Dragon Age up, and then it will start. And it's the most complicated. I sat here and it's every time I go to play Dragon Age, I need to set aside 15 minutes so that I can get through all this bullshit in the beginning. And it's just a hassle because Dragon Age is such a good game. Dragon Age 3, in my opinion, I'm really enjoying that game. So it's going here, it's oh my god. If I could, I would pay $50 to migrate my Dragon Age 3 onto Steam.
Well,
Steam, come up with this Steam, and I will pay you more money than I already give you.
Origin, literal programming bug functional issues aside, you don't have a gift function. You stupid.
That bothered me so much. I was so confused.
When I have to go to Amazon to buy a physical copy of a PC game, fuck you. You know you have a problem, and I've looked this up. Why do they not have one? We just don't.
We just don't have it. We just don't do it.
We just don't.
I've gone to forums because I was trying to buy Steve Dragon Age 3 for Christmas, and I was like, oh, easy gift. Let me go to Origin. It was on sale for $30, and I was like, or for 30% off, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a perfect gift for Steve. And literally, it took me so long to try to get this thing for Steve, and what ended up happening was he had to let me log into his Origin account so I could put my own credit card information to purchase it electronically for him. Because, I don't know, it's late at night, I don't want to go out and go to a GameStop and drive my car, get into this thing, buy this game,
have to get it
and mail it to Steve or give it to him, or get the code, I don't know, it was...
And it's literally, it makes no sense.
There's zero sense why, yeah.
Yeah, you were, at one point you were like, what's your bank account number? I'll just wire you the cash
exactly.
and you can buy it yourself. And I was like, and it's so easily integrated into Steam, and It makes so much sense. And it's like you said, how can you enter into the digital marketplace as a seller, where you're like, we're going to build this product, this digital store. You can come here, buy all your EA products. It's going to be great. And you don't include the basic shit that your main competitor, Steam, has had from day one.
And that's what I was saying. I was like, you look at this, it's not like it's, you're the only one in the space and you're just trying it and it's a new idea. Like, Steam has this, like maybe it's, kind of just copy them, like it's not, it's on
their code.
It's on, but what is Origin? But literally, EA was like, oh, hey, like, look what Steam's doing. That's, like, awesome. They've got all this stuff. They have all this user access. And at the same time, there's, whenever you open Steam up, it's always on your computer. You have all this advertising for Steam. It's a great idea. So EA is like, well, we should have it. But, like, true to EA,
let's make it worse.
Yeah, true to EA colors. No, instead of doing a full product, they're like, well, let's just copy, like, the basic functionality. So they just pulled up this. All it is basically a second website. That's all. It's like a web browser that just opens up in your computer instead of like an actual full tool. It's literally just a browser to get onto their website to show you stuff. And that's all it does.
That's all it is.
And it's all it is. And it has no functionality. It's like Steam has all this stuff. Just take all the best parts and don't take all the shitty parts, and that's how you make a product better.
But there are no shitty parts of Steam. That's the thing. Like, I mean, what is something?
There's some
Steam will randomly change my language to Finnish a lot of the time.
I find
that's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I guess like their party system is a little.
What do you mean their party system's fine?
It's okay, but it's like it's not, I guess, super intuitive, but that's like a minor complaint. Like it's not like it's impossible.
I like Steam. I think Steam's great. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it should be that hard to emulate Steam. And EA, EA is losing. Like, EA already has such a shitty reputation. This just furthers it. It's like, you think that there's some dude at EA whose sole job is to be like, hey guys, everyone hates us. Can we do better?
I think that's the guy that they fired.
Maybe that's the guy that they fired. But you can sit there and go,
yeah.
There's so many ways to improve. But like, the easiest way to just be like, hey, our portal, which is the first thing that people see, the thing that people deal with to buy our games, to play, to get with their friends. Our portal it's so shitty right now that it's turning people away. Like, I almost didn't buy Steve Dragon Age 3 because I was like so frustrated with this.
Which is a sales loss right there. Like,
exactly.
And imagine the people who like aren't as close as we are, where like you could just share. Like, I could just share with you my personal account information so you can go in there and buy it. Imagine how many sales they lost because they didn't have digital.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm thinking about this from the snake mind, the lizard brain of the EA employee. It actually sort of makes sense if you want to make money, right? Because if you force someone to go buy a physical copy, the person who's selling you the physical copy that isn't EA had to pay full price for that. So EA got their money already. They got their $50. If that person's going to sell it to you on a discount, then they're losing the money, right? But if they allow you to give other people games through Origin that are cheaper, then that's sort of doubling up on their losses because you probably already bought it yourself. Like,
well, I mean,
there's no excuse. Here, I'm not. Again,
you're not an EA apologist.
I'm not an EA apologist.
Is that an EA shirt I see?
I really hate Origin. I have from day one. It is one of the main reasons I don't fucking play Battlefield 4 anymore, aside from that game being produced by EA and thus being a fucking nightmare until like 2 years after it's released or whatever. But like, it's just you. I mean, you play is the same deal. If you're gonna. It's like people not giving their movies to Netflix because they're like, no, we'll just have our own like Time Warner service.
Exactly.
It's like, you fucking tard. I will never use your service, I promise you. Time Warner.
For all the money...
I'm putting you on blast, okay? I will never give you money for those movies. If I can't find it on Netflix, I'm just not going to watch it, okay? If, as a consumer, I want a single platform that is accessible when I choose for a reasonable price. Now, if Netflix one day decided, you know what, we're going to raise price to like $15 a month, but we're going to give you all these movies, do it. Do it right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I use Netflix every fucking day of my life. Yeah. Give me more.
I've always said that the way of the future for entertainment consumption is a single holistic web delivery service. Like Netflix, but for all your music, your games, and your movies, and your TV shows.
Well, no, it'll never happen.
For $20 a month.
It will never happen.
It will never happen because
these companies are so fucking have their heads up their ass. They just can't stand the thought of changing to a new medium.
Well,
like,
and
go out of my way not to go to the movies anymore.
Yeah.
I will wait 6 months and see if it shows up on Netflix. If it doesn't,
you're never going to see.
I don't give a shit.
But and the thing is that a part of the problem, I guess, is that they're still making money with the current model that they have, and they will. Like the thing is they make more money. Like having it available on their Time Warner service or making people buy the Blu-ray.
That's the issue right there, is that they still make more money than what Netflix is going to give them. You know,
they will make less money when this holistic distribution, like single digital distribution service comes around. They will make less money.
I don't think the problem is they control the rights. So how are you going to have that service?
I don't think the service is ever going to happen.
Probably not, because they'll make less money,
and especially not a service that's music and movies and all this. You will have Netflix. You'll have like Groove Shark for music.
Spotify's probably
or Spotify or
Pandora.
Whatever. Groove Shark's still
no,
the best,
because you don't pay for Pandora.
That's true.
Yeah, Spotify can suck a dick. Groove Shark's free, but
does Groove Shark have an iTunes app yet?
Why do they need one? They have an HTML5 app just in your fucking browser.
That works. Anyways, so it's just unfortunate. And Origin is an unfortunate service, but everything that EA has done for the last several years has been
it's just funny because
especially in the digital space.
Origin to me just epitomizes EA. Like
yes.
That's really what it is. It's just half-assed and full price is what EA half-assed and full price. That's literally how I would describe Origin.
Hasn't that been their company motto for like 20 years or something?
Probably.
Since 1994?
They probably internalized it, and then, I don't know. That's just...
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I have the same, literally pretty much exactly the same complaints against Uplay, except they're probably worse because
I don't even know what that is.
Uplay is Ubisoft's version of Origin.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
all these people
have games on there that I've bought off of Steam that, of course, I have to use Uplay to play. It has, like, locked DLC? DRM.
Yeah.
DRM.
Like I have games where they recorded the fact that I like switched over to a hard drive, and that's 2 out of 3 activations. If I activate it again and I need a new hard drive, I can never get that fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why these people. How are you going to prove to me that you're trying to exist in a competitive space, but you are only running half the race and then just like pooping on the ground?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is
it doesn't make any sense.
They're very concerned about piracy.
They are
and sharing,
but that's how you get rid of piracy and sharing.
I think the funny thing is, like, you find that, like, yeah, you may lose money in the short run by share, like the sharing part. Like, you get rid of like as I said, you get rid of piracy by sharing, right? So if everyone can get it, there's no need to pirate it. And then by getting it, all you're gonna do is improve your brand. Really, all nowadays, like, why do people buy games? More often than not, it's because of good brand name, like good branding. Like right now, I'm hesitant to buy an EA game, and I would love to buy a BioWare game. It's unfortunate that EA or BioWare has a freaking host their stuff on EA, but I'm just saying, like, it's all about branding. And so if you have, like, Steam, like, all of us have, like, huge loyalty to Steam. Like, if Steam were to
fight to the death,
if Steam were to
call up arms to
Yeah,
march
seriously.
on EA's head,
I will be there in
master
the
race
front
will be
with a Jameson Molotov and a Shamal gun.
Yeah. So, like, and all of that is built because they give good quality. They're not dicks about their, open source to me is always the right way to go. And so you just have these issues where they're, I don't know.
They just don't understand how to compete in that space.
Yeah,
they're not going to put any time or money into it because they exist as a company that, again, half-ass full price. I hate them. That's all it is.
The thing is like, they don't understand how to compete in that space, but I don't understand how they don't get that because we get it.
No, it's just an old model. It's the same thing with the movie companies not wanting to all go to a single place. It's the idea of, like, I made my game. Here's my game. I want to sell it, and I want everyone to buy a single copy. Like, back in the day, though, like, yeah, your user base was like an eighth of what it was. The internet has opened up. Some dude in Zimbabwe, some really rich dude in Zimbabwe can buy. Can get on you.
Rich dude
the only dude in Zimbabwe can get and buy Far Cry 4 now if he really wants to. Like,
he'd be like, "This is like home."
Yeah, he'd probably be like, "This is incredibly inaccurate."
That's Far Cry 4 is like Nepal.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. So they're so narrow-minded. It's because all these CEOs are just old farts that are in the past, and so they don't want to change. That's why DRM exists. That's why, like, even like the music industry, like, not downloading music. They're all like freaking out, and it's like it's the epitome of like just this is general business, but you evolve and you change or you fade away. And so if they're not going to change, they're going to fade away because less and less people are going to buy their stuff, even if they have good games. And eventually, like that'll play out over time. But that's just my opinion. Is I think that they're stuck in an old way of thinking. Now the new way of thinking is the cloud sharing, like instant access, instant arrival. Our generation's all about like now. So everything they're doing is pushing back that now. Maybe 10 years ago I've been willing to drive to the GameStop, but now today when I can just buy, when we were like, oh hey, let's play Chivalry, we were like, all right, buy the game, download it. I have it.
We all bought it.
I have it now. It's like that. Instead, like with the EA, with the Dragon Age, I had to be like, I need to drive to a store, go there,
out of my way,
then go to Steve's place, then go deliver it, or I have to get Steve's bank account number, transfer money.
They're making it hard for you to give them money.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the sales they would make by making this, more accessible and easier to get, and yeah, maybe they'll lose some money on a couple of, I might give the game to you, or like some people might kind of share it, and so you might not get that profit off that one, a couple shares. I think what they're losing in customers, by having DRM is just not, it's
not worth it.
Well,
it's not
here's
worth
the
it.
thing. I mean, you need to remember that these companies are making insane amounts of money off of every digital sale that they make, right? Your game is not worth $60.
Well, for sure, because
but I'm paying $60 for downloading.
The $60 price was all that was built into that is the fact that you had to use these expensive Blu-ray discs.
Exactly.
You had to ship it, you had to package it, you had to make it, you had to sell it, you had to advertise it. So that's all built in the $60.
It's a console sphere problem, but somehow people were just like online dildo into the price ass.
Because you pay if you pay full price for anything online, like you are giving money hand over fist. And I'm willing to do that for some games I believe in, but like you're giving money hand over fist to those companies because like the game probably cost them like $40 or like
$40.
Sorry, I'm saying
best game
it was
ever.
probably like $20. Each $60 game probably cost them $20 to make. But then once you ramp up the amount of production and marketing and selling and like actual like the disc itself, that's like $4. Like it probably cost
defense agencies and shooting budgets.
Yeah, it probably cost them $40, and so they make that $20 on the $60 that you sell. But now that they don't have those costs, they're making $40. They're making hand over fist with these things. So it just seems silly to me.
EA usually does some release budget numbers.
Yeah, I don't know if they do or not. I'm curious what the budget is.
And it reminds me kind of like we were talking about HBO Go. Like HBO has the great idea, in my opinion, of letting anyone who wants the account just use the account. And for stuff like Game of Thrones, the CEO of HBO was like, well, if you're letting everyone use these HBO Go accounts without like having limits on them, like you're just having all these people not pay for your service. And the CEO of HBO was like, well, you know what? Everyone is watching Game of Thrones online. Like everyone and their mom, all they're doing is talking about Game of Thrones, because everyone who wants
stealing it.
Because everyone who wants to watch it can watch it. And you know what? He's like, our DVD sales of Game of Thrones are through the roof.
It's why piracy is like generally a good thing.
And our side, and like the spillover, the guy that watched Game of Thrones, he's using HBO, he's gonna go watch Boardwalk Empire. He's gonna watch whatever HBO show news coming up, and then that's gonna spill over by just views on TV, like normal TV. So they'll buy an HBO service, and eventually, like if people like HBO enough, he's like, we're doing is by letting them pirate it, they're gonna see how awesome HBO is, and then eventually they're just gonna buy it because they love it.
It's complete confidence, and it's something I think that a lot of companies don't really have, right? I mean, that's why they're so hard up against piracy. Like you look at most of the statistics about how piracy actually affects a company, it's generally in a positive way. People will pirate it, and the people who are pirating it don't have the fucking money to get it right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But and thank you, game industry, for not fucking releasing demos for shit anymore. I don't know how shitty the game you're gonna
that's
get
true.
is. So why would I spend money on it when I can get a demo by just fucking downloading it off of the internet to try it out first? I mean, I don't do that anymore. I got the money to pay for shit. But as a 16-year-old kid or whatever, when I'm like make like $100 in 2 weeks from my job or whatever. Yeah. That's
working 40 hours a week.
Yeah, it's just not reasonable to like. I don't know. I'm going to tell my friends about it. They're going to get it. I mean, the company just got greedy. Like, I mean,
even back in like VHS, like you're making VHS, like, oh hey, like I have like sleeping.
I thought you were going to say Vietnam. I was like,
back in the
Vietnam. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm saying like VHS tapes, like how common was it to like rent a thing from Blockbuster and then or buy it and then give it to your friend? You know?
Yeah.
Or just record it. So like that one thing got purchased once and got passed around 13 times. That's there's not a whole uproar like we need a DRM or like I mean I don't think it could, but like, you didn't see all these, crazy issues coming from those companies, but now all of a sudden they're like, oh, now that we have the technology to track it, like we need to keep every penny. We need every penny,
Now that we have complete control, God forbid we loosen the reins a little bit, like.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. So the advent of the internet and its exponential growth, and in the fact that like it's so fast now, like people are going to start getting gigabit Ethernet or internet here pretty soon. I mean,
so speaking of that, I got a fucking circular in my mail from Cox, who is like.
Join the gigabit revolution.
Yes, the gigabit revolution. You mean that thing that's been around
in
that
Europe
forever? Well, in Europe, Google Fibers existed for much longer than Cox has thought this up. They're trying to make it out as if they were like the savior Jesus of the internet, right?
How much is it going to cost, though?
$100 a month. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's like a dental bill. Why the fuck would I pay that for gigabit Ethernet?
Well, and I mean, with Google, Google Fiber, I think Google Fiber, they're charging $70 a month. But, I mean, so 75, 100, that's a little high. 75, I think, is perfect for gigabit.
Well, consider
the
that
fastest internet you can get. Like,
consider that for Google Fiber, it's gigabit internet plus a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, none of their categories is
I would say, to be honest, I don't think I need that much. I mean, I don't think I would ever ramp up. Unless, like, I'm just, I'm sure maybe in a couple years I'm rolling in the dough, like... But I download things just fine. I stream things. I have no issue streaming right now. So it's like if
I can't watch Twitch on my fucking
apartment. But
you've got like a weird, like, you go through
super shitty.
You have like an apartment.
It's an apartment. I got to share all the bandwidth with all these motherfuckers who are talking to their families at 3 a.m.
watching some Bollywood movies.
Do you think that Cox is going to come in here and install the gigabit infrastructure?
No, it's not for this apartment complex. It's just for, like, would you like to be a Cox customer? I'm like, you're sending me a circular to be a Cox customer. An apartment complex that only gives me 2 other choices that aren't Cox.
Yeah.
You dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to... I was going to put this in SAK up, but I think it makes more sense for Game SAK. Let's talk about Lizard Squad and the Sony-Microsoft outages over...
I don't know why that would be a Game SAK thing.
Because they took out Xbox Live and... Sony Online.
It was completely politically motivated. Why would it be
a
game? They're basically, at first, were like, we're not going to rest until Sony and Microsoft update the security for their services. And then later they're like, yeah, fuck Sony and Microsoft. Just fuck them. And just kept getting them out.
Okay. We'll put
we can talk about either way. That's really the extent of what I know. I didn't really look up much of that once I saw that article.
Okay, so. Well, we'll put it on SAK up because it goes along with the interview and all that stuff that we'll talk about over there. So, favorite games of 2014.
Well, why don't you start since you're the only person who has actual text?
Well, I wrote some stuff down, but I had an interesting year in that I didn't play a ton of like the super new stuff that came out. Watch Dogs I did play, but it's like hard for me to pull off the top of my head. So this year I played a lot of Dota, and Dota's not new, so it's not like the new game of 2014 or anything. But I've been playing a crap load of that along with Ken. I actually played a lot of World of Warcraft for the first time in several years. Like that took up a bulk of my time for ever since March.
Addison's shaking his head right now.
A big part of that was because I was streaming during that time, and so those were the games that I was playing while I was streaming. But I was really impressed with World of Warcraft, actually, because Warlords Draenor was very exciting. Like, it felt kind of like a return to form for them, and so that I was really excited to be there for that launch. And granted, now, like, I've been playing that for like a month, and now I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and I got back into Skyrim after I saw The Hobbit. But because seeing those movies just makes me want to be a badass warrior, and Skyrim's the place to go. But I was really impressed with Mists of Pandaria. I thought it was going to be really stupid, but I got in and played it, and I was pretty impressed with that. And Dragon Age Inquisition, which like the very tail end of the year, I just started playing. I started playing it technically I think I started playing it this year. No, I started on like Monday or Tuesday, but. Dragon Age Inquisition is phenomenal, is incredibly good, and I'm still finding myself going back to Skyrim, like I just mentioned, because I modded it a ton, and I've it's like a completely different game. Like, it looks better than any game that has come out in 2015 or 2014 when it's modded. Like,
I must be getting old, but I'm just like struggling to remember all the games that came out in 2014.
Well, that's the thing, is there weren't really...
my favorite...
A lot of them were disappointments. That was the problem. It's like a lot of stuff in 2014 was like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, 1 through 7, and shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, mostly for me, like I just
Destiny, the most failure game of all. Divinity came out.
Divinity was good,
and you guys played Divinity,
yeah,
for a bit,
for a little bit.
So I say my top ones that I played. The ones I played the most, and the games that I like really got into, enjoyed this year were Warlords of Draenor and World of Warcraft in general. I jumped back into that, and now I don't know if I'm going to keep going with it. Dota 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition. And Watch Dogs. I beat Watch Dogs. And I don't beat games very often. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, is to play and beat a greater diversity of games, because I am terrible at beating games.
Well, consider this, though. Ubisoft games are easy to beat. They don't take a long time to beat. It's just getting all the extraneous shit around the game on the map where you can't see the actual topography of the map. It's just filled with little icons for pickups and shit like that.
Yeah. And then... Far Cry 3 was last year.
Far Cry 3
was like 2
last
years
year
ago.
or a couple.
I didn't play that this year.
You played Grand Theft Auto, didn't you? Did you like
GTA 5? But that came out.
Did that come out? See, I'm
in 20,
I'm struggling to remember all the games that came in 2014.
Yeah.
Well, so, I'll go next because my list is relatively short. But I played a lot of Insurgency.
You did,
because I enjoy shooters, and that one is a lot of fun. Wasteland 2 I've played a bunch, and it's reminds me of like Sacred, but a more like being post-apocalyptic instead of fantasy setting, which is always fun, although the character generation system is a little much for me at times. And since like a couple weeks after it came out, pretty much, Dragon Age, I mean, I've put like 60 hours into that game so far. I still haven't beat it. So.
Yeah. And you're digging into Far Cry 4 now.
I'm getting Far Cry 4 now, but it really makes the Ubisoftness of it stand out.
Really?
Like, it took me and Ben like 3 hours to try and get a co-op game going because you play such a shit piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's they give you a little progress screen when you press start that shows you like different milestones you made through the game. And I was sad to find out that after playing for like 5 hours or something, my main quest one was like half over.
Wow.
And so I had to go out of my way to stop doing the actual interesting shit and start like collecting masks of Yalong and shit and spinning mani wheels and all this other shit I do not care about.
Yeah.
But I want the game to last. Like, I'm glad I got it for free because I can't possibly be disappointed with it at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
But if I had bought it for myself, I think I would have been staunchly disappointed because it feels like I'm just playing a FPS version of fucking Assassin's Creed. Like, all of their games are the same now.
Yeah.
That is their model, is like huge, okay map with a ton of stuff, side quests and shit to do on it. A somewhat compelling story, except for in Assassin's Creed Unity's case.
Mm-hmm.
Microtransactions. Go.
Yeah.
So
then there's of course Super Smash Brothers, which I've somehow neglected to mention, but
that
is
that's
probably
sort
like
of
the
just,
biggest game of this year was Super Smash.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, we haven't really played it that much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you and I have. We played online against people.
We played online too. I will say that's pretty fun.
We all had, but not, and that's maybe just a side effect of not having as much.
We fucking got griefed by those people who are just doubling up on characters.
Yeah.
Double DDD is not something to laugh at, kids.
Yeah, but so Super Smash Brothers probably like the game that I was like the most super excited about this year was that, and we played it, and we havened played it a ton.
We will never play it as much as we played Brawl just because we don't have the time anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if
we
ever
maxed
will.
out the time counter on Brawl real quick.
Yes, we did. I mean, we played so much.
I think
on Brawl.
the thing for me is Smash is going to become more interesting once the DLCs start coming out. Because honestly, the characters that we have right now, like I play Bowser Jr. and that's the only real fun I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are they
and
officially
he's not even that
releasing
good.
DLC?
Well, Mewtwo at least is coming out. That I'm excited for because he should have stayed in. Like, I love Lucario, and actually playing Lucario, having Lucario in Brawl made me care about having him in my party in the Pokemon games, so I take that shit real serious. You gotta be a pretty exemplary Pokemon to be in my top 6.
Yeah.
But, like, Mewtwo is still, aside from Marth, like, my best person in Melee and the person I had the most fun with. So, for him to have not been there in Brawl and to only come back for people who double bought the game, that's some pretty sleight of handy, underhanded bullshit, Nintendo, just saying.
Yeah. That's how they make their money.
Wow.
All right.
How about you, Ken? What came out?
Yeah,
this year that you were really
this was a different
excited
year
about?
for me because this is kind of the first year that I haven't really played a lot of console games. Like I didn't,
what I was
I
gonna
didn't
say.
really go through with the new generation. Like I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, so I mostly kept
Yeah,
the PC.
we should say none of us have any next gen except
So,
for one
I mean,
Wii U.
Except for our next-gen computer consoles
Yeah.
that we run.
I think eventually, like, I'll probably get one of those systems, but for now, like, I kind of avoid that. So for me, I kind of played a lot of tried and true games, like Dota. I played a ton of Dota. I don't know what happened. Like, it was funny because Steve was into it, and I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna, I'll play a little bit, but you'll get tired of it. And then I played it, and I just never got to. I literally have been playing Dota like all year
for 2 years now because I got into it in the summer of last year.
Yeah,
and you were like, it's a good game, but it's fucking hard, and people give you shit if you suck.
The community's
and,
so rancid in that game.
it
It's
is
so
rancid.
true.
Not as bad as LoL, but it's still
It's a rancid game, but
But-
we're playing that a lot. Dragon Age, I put a lot of time. I put in like 60 hours, but that includes multiplayer, so I'm not as far as Addison. But I'm finding that I'm really enjoying that game a lot.
And even the multiplayer, it's so good. It's so much fun.
To be honest,
when it
the
doesn't crash to
multiplayer is
desktop.
just the grind fest, but it's a lovely grind fest. And one game that I really enjoyed that I haven't really touched my DS that often, but Bravely Default was a great game.
Yeah, I should have talked about fucking Bravely
I
Default.
put, I'm not done with it yet, but I think I'm like a good like 60 hours
I'm not
in the
either.
game.
I still
And
haven't
it's-
beat it, and I never will.
To be honest, it's that game that just reminds me of my very first game I think I truly played to completion that was really happy was Final Fantasy X on the PS2. That was like the first time I got that system. Like I was really like, wow, this is awesome. And that after that, I've always loved the Final Fantasy games, although the latest ones have been kind of disappointing. So this Bravely Default kind of took me back to that, and I was like, this is just a good turn-based, clever battle mechanic in there with the default system. The story's pretty decent. It's a little cartoonish, but it doesn't bother me. And so I was really happy with that. So, but overall, I kind of feel like this year was kind of a disappointment for a lot of games that I had expectations for. Like, well, just to pause that for a second. Another game that I wish I had played was The Last of Us, because I didn't have a PS3, and so that was the game that I had I had played.
I did not play that. I wish I had.
But like, I don't know, even like Diablo 3 came out, and that was kind of like shitty. The
was
new Diablo, the Reaper
yeah,
of Souls. I kind of looked around it. And
I didn't get that. I want
Expansion.
to though.
I've watched it. Like it's I don't know.
If
Apparently,
nothing
it's
else,
so much better. Like
Is
that's,
it?
people
well,
just
it's
keep
better.
saying
Better, I would assume, from giving them a year and a half to patch it since we played it last. Like, it's probably enough time for them to have stabled it out. But yeah,
Yeah,
being
I
there
didn't
on
play
the
it much, but
Vanguard,
Dark
like,
Souls. I mean, Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
I don't know. This year was a really strange year for me because I just started watching a lot of people play games on YouTube and not
With
actually playing
YouTube
them
and
myself.
Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't have the time to play everything I want to play by myself, and there's some games where like I'm not 100% invested in getting. I need to see something for it first, but they'll never put a fucking demo out. So like for Dark Souls 2, for me, I wasn't that interested in it because I got Dark Souls 1 and I didn't have any fun because I'm not good at it, and I didn't want to get good.
It's definitely a tough game.
Yeah, that's a learning curve.
Well, I mean, my biggest problem was I wasn't the fucking cleric, and I went down that goddamn graveyard, and those skeletons just ass raped me like every time I went down there.
Yeah.
But so I watched, people on YouTube play it, and it was more fun for me, I think, to do it that way than to play the
One game I did
myself,
play a
so.
ton actually was Borderlands 2, and I actually really
You
enjoyed
did.
that. I played that a lot, so I put a lot of hours in. And that was actually really fun. More and more I've been trying to really enjoying the kind of the multiplayer drop in drop out games, and
If only there were more of them.
I know.
Well,
And
next year-
Borderlands 2 was great. Do you know that a
Let's-
Drakengard 3 came out?
Drakengard 3 did come out.
I didn't
guess
know that.
What's a terrible game, just like Drakengard 1 and 2.
I like Drakengard
Drakengard
1.
one
No,
was
here's
bomb.
the
There's something
thing.
exciting about flying on a
No,
freaking
no,
dragon.
no.
Come
That
on,
was one of the
dude.
first good
Let me
dragon
redact
games.
my statement and let me reiterate it a little. Understand that those are not good games.
No.
They are good for us, though, because they're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember, because that was one of, 3 games that I ever owned when I owned my PS2. Alex let me borrow it or something.
Yeah.
And, I remember trying so hard. I had my computer set up next to my TV, and I had the FAQ open for getting all the special
You didn't
weapons.
have the book? What?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't have the book.
No, I know.
But I just remember doing all this stuff for, like, you gotta kill 1,000 people with the greatsword to get the scythe or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna get that goddamn scythe. So I just played the first level over and over and over again.
There's just something awesome about having a dragon. I don't know.
There's
I'm
something
sure it really
awesome
wasn't.
about
I'm sure it's
giant-
just souped up Dynasty Warriors,
giant
but just having
Satan fetuses flying at you.
just having a dragon and kind of like time to make the pact. And there's just.
Dragon Guard 3 came out for PS3 though, didn't it?
Yes,
That was
it did.
Fucking awful.
I'm just going through a list
Well,
of games that came
you
out this
should go
year.
watch.
It didn't come out this year. Dragon Guard 3 came out like.
No, Dragon Guard 3 came out 2014.
2014.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
For PS3,
on a
Dragon
list.
Guard
Of, yeah,
3.
that's why I was
Oh,
surprised
and
because
2 came out for PS3 in
A long time
2006.
ago.
Yeah.
Right? And that sucked.
that was like one of the first games on PS.
Well, because they tried to
It was.
over Japanese-ize the main character. Like, Kaim was just this dude who was, like, full of hate, and he made a terrible decision by bonding with his dragon, but now it's his job to, like, save the world. The guy in 2 is just like, yeah, anime character.
Yeah. Well, and with 2, they insisted that you use the fucking DualShock to fly. And so you would, like, turn it and your character would be like...
Do a barrel roll.
Layer.
Do a barrel roll in perpetuity.
Yeah, that was Lair, too. But both of those games came out.
Yeah, well, because they're trying to be like PS3 just came out. Look at us, we've got motion sensor and
It's
our
the same
thing.
thing as, like, that's not how you spell Dragon Guard at all.
Dragon Guard. When did that come out? Dragon Guard 2 was on the PS2.
Yep.
There we go.
We were thinking of Lair that came out in
Lair was
2006,
the
and Lair was
3
fucking
is
awful.
2013, actually. December 19th, 2013.
Oh well, they may be. I don't know. I'm just reading this list. I don't know. It's from
Okay.
Oh,
GameSpot.
Square Enix. Why do you...
That might have been.
Now that does
that
look
could,
a lot more
That could have been the
anime.
Japanese release though, and then the American release came in 2014.
Yeah, May 2014. And
God damn it! It's just a pic. It's just an
I didn't
anime chick with
hear
huge
about
boobs
that
on the
game coming
cover.
out, Yeah, I didn't
Welcome
hear
to
about Dragon
Japanese
Guard 3
games.
coming out.
It probably only
And
got
it's like
released in
cell
Japan or
shaded now and
something.
stuff. It looks like.
Yeah, it's easy for them to do.
Well, I missed that one on May 20th of 2014. Let me tell you.
Well, so how about, I mean, looking forward, what are you guys excited for?
So if you pull, I mean, this is probably just my fanboyness, and it probably, in my mind is more of art than it is, but supposedly if, Kingdom Hearts 3 ever comes out,
It will be awesome.
it will.
It will. Yeah.
I actually think the second game wasn't that good, but there's something about the first game just so captured my heart that I think I will never ever hate that series, even though, like, the amount of bullshit that's occurred in between the console games, like, 365 birth by sleep times 15 and
Over two,
and like
Every math equation.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like weird, like I actually played the card scroller, like the.
But see, apparently that was like a bomb-ass game.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I know. I thought it was fun
Yeah.
where you had your card, you made your deck, and then you played them. But the story just got like you just YouTube that shit, and they have all these people doing like story recaps, and it's so
hyper-convoluted.
confusing.
Well,
It
even the
is
guy
so
who made
confusing.
the game, he was like, I don't fucking know. You've
You've got your Heartless, you've got your face. No, what was it? The Heartless Shadow. What's the nobodies? Yes,
your
you
nobodies,
So everyone's got a Heartless and a no. So there's like 3 people.
So
each
you
person.
understand, by the way, that in Kingdom Hearts 3, you are going to have a heartless version of the Nobodies. We're going to have a fourth one. Yeah.
the fourth.
We're going to have the
fourth
heartless,
shadow.
the Nobodies, and the like Equitrondues or something. And it's, I don't know.
So
It's going to be awesome.
I'm sure. I think it's gonna be awesome
We
just
have a
because I
huge
loved
stable
it.
of jokes that come from
Exactly.
Exactly, and so much of our adolescence was based around Kingdom Hearts. For some reason, like,
Well, it's
Well, it's not adolescent, but so many of our inside jokes were just based off like
Well,
just
when you
goofy and like.
you go out of your way to take like the stupidest character of all time, Mickey Mouse, and turn him
Into a badass.
into a godlike version of Yoda,
Yeah.
with a keyblade, like you have my attention.
yeah. And that's the thing is that
Well, and
those-
I like Disney stuff, so like
Yeah.
like the Nightmare Before Christmas world was like my favorite, and just
Give me
being in there.
Hercules World and fighting Sephiroth. And
It was all
yeah.
good. No, they had the right mix of like Disney charm, but then Square Enix like Final Fantasy kind of like hack and slash like awesomeness. So you mix those together, it was just a good time. I'm excited
The
for
only
it.
good cross merger of IPs in history.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm waiting for it. Star Wars. Can you imagine if there's like a
my
tattoo
God.
zone or
Everybody-
something? I'm just saying because
it's gonna be, but it's
Sora's
gonna be,
running around the Keyblade and
a
Han
lightsaber.
Solo's like.
but it's gonna be like the Star Wars Rebel versions of the characters. So they're gonna be weirdly animated.
Cell
and
shaded
stuff.
shit. You know, whatever. Can you imagine your like lightsaber Keyblade?
Oh yes,
There we
yes,
go.
it will happen. Yeah, I'm excited for that game, and regardless of what people say about the story or anything like that, like the combination of it's just two great things that taste great together. I don't know why, but the gameplay is fun. The visuals are fucking ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
it's just great. It's great.
I'm looking for that. My next game I have on here is Final Fantasy 15. If that's supposed to come out
The
sometime.
road trip?
The road trip. I don't know,
Oh
something
my
about
God.
that. Something about four bros going on an
it
adventure.
literally is
It's four bros going on an adventure. It just sounds exciting to me.
And it's literally four bros in a car driving around. Like, during one of the trailers they released recently, they were like, "Oh, there's a war happening. What do we do?" And the other guy was like, "We just have to keep driving. Like, we just have to keep." I don't know.
It's been in production for so long, and they said it got scrapped and rebuilt and whatever. So I don't know, but
But it looks amazing.
Final Fantasy is. Well, I don't know. They'll always have a
It's a
soft spot
gaming
in my heart.
cornerstone,
So
right? I
it's
mean,
just been such an icon.
At least, see, that's my problem with Final Fantasy is I skipped. I got into it with Tactics Advance was actually my first Final Fantasy game.
I remember when you played that
Then
game.
I played 7, and then I've never played another one. Like I never played 10. I bought the
I actually really like 10. I know a
the
lot of
strategy
people don't.
guide for 10 for the art,
Yes.
just because I was into drawing and shit at that time. But I remember watching you play. Which one was it that you were playing when we were in high school? Like 12?
Was that
Well,
12? Was that the one
the one where you play
with
like
Vaughn?
100 hours.
Was that
into
one
it.
with like Vaughn?
Yes, the one with Vaughn and Vanilla in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You put so much time into that, but I can't imagine, like, I don't know. I can imagine putting that much time in it, but I will not fucking buy a PS4 or an Xbox One. I'm just
You
not
want to
gonna
buy
do
a PS4? You've said that before.
it. I will buy a PS4 because of Samurai Warriors 3. Legends.
It's a game that's not going to be nearly as good. It's
Hey,
Final
listen,
Fantasy
it's gonna
15.
be co-op Samurai Warriors. I love that shit.
Yeah.
And
We'll
if
have
I-
fun playing it, but
Well, someday. I'm not gonna buy it until I buy a gun safe, but
yeah, I've always loved Final Fantasy, and 13 did not resonate very well with me.
I never really played it that much. It just seemed
There's a lot of cutscenes.
It just seemed really linear. I don't know. To be honest, like I think the last really good Final Fantasy was probably 10, which is a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long
They
time
made
ago.
like 5, like 12 was like good looking and fun, but like I don't know. There wasn't a lot of real investment in there because the story kind of was shitty.
Yeah.
I think 11. I don't even remember.
wasn't
what
11 the chicks
Oh,
one?
No, that was Final Fantasy X2.
Yeah,
I did not play
11
that.
was the online
Was the
one.
online one.
Yeah, which was
Thir-
super ugly and
Which
Well,
they remade to
complex.
14.
They remade.
They remade
and
it as
apparently
14.
It was fucking badass. Mark plays that all the
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah.
Well, they remade it to 14, then it sucked, and then they did Final Fantasy 14 Reborn, which
Yeah.
apparently they finally got it right.
Remastered.
Yeah.
Reborn to do.
They
And
finally
then-
got it right, apparently.
So I don't know. They've Square Enix or whatever the weird corporation they've
Squaresoft.
become now. It hasn't been good for a while now.
I just
but
remember when we
I'm looking forward to 15. Hopefully, it lives up to all my hopes and dreams.
I remember when we all played Final Fantasy 11. We all got like super into it. We were like,
never-
We played for a day. Remember,
We did.
We're
We were like-
in my office. It took us like 3 hours to download all the shit across all our platforms.
Yep.
And we got into it. And we're like, because we all played WoW, and we're like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like
It
you
was
can't.
ugly.
It's like point and click. It's
Yeah.
like fugly. Yeah. Nothing made sense.
everything was like gray squares.
Yeah, and we're like,
slate.
and we literally, it was funny because we spent all that time trying to download this thing because we're like, oh, we should try it, and then we're like, guys, want to go play some hero defense? All right, and we got on
Yeah,
Warcraft 3, and then
pretty much.
freaking Addison and his pit lord. Remember that?
No, it's Chorito Burrito.
Oh, Churro
burrito,
Burrito.
burrito. All right, so you have the Division on here, which tell me about that one because that one I don't know.
That one just came out at E3 like last year. This is, I don't know if it's gonna be good anymore, but just looking at it, the premise sounded really cool. It's basically just a 4-player team-based like tactics. It's live action, but it's like you're supposed to be kind of like a special ops team-ish. There's some kind of outbreak or infection or something. A nuke happened, and everything's kind of like, it's not post-apocalyptic 100%, like cars and buildings to work, but it's very much like,
It's just you're in the shit areas of a close to post-apocalyptic.
yeah, close area, and you're with a squad, and you're going through, and then there's some kind of objective there. But just the premise of like squad based, like Addison and I really enjoy playing Battlefield 3. And when we were on the, we'd get on the Xbox and we'd have a little squad of 4 where you would just do like heroic shit left and right. Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. So kind of a game based around that just seemed to me like it'd be fun. So and there hasn't been a lot to come out on it.
That's the thing, though.
I'm not really sure. And Ubisoft is in control, so you kind of wonder, like.
I think Ubisoft may have a unique opportunity to not suck with this game. They're not going to take it. I've seen more gameplay snippets, and I'm a bit concerned because I know you like this game a lot, and if you like it, then I will probably get it.
Well, I liked what I heard about the premise of what I saw on E3, but it's been a while, and who knows, it's looking like it might go shitty.
Execution is not going to live up to... But then that's every game that was at E3, Watch Dogs.
I just think just the premise to me.
In a minority.
It got good reviews from what I saw, and I played it and I enjoyed it. Like, I like the story, the whole cyberpunk futuristic aspect of it was very cool, and they did a great job representing Chicago. I didn't go back to it once I beat it. Like, I beat it and I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, that was pretty much it. I did not like. It wasn't like Grand Theft Auto or other games like or Far Cry. Like, I played Far Cry and Far Cry 3, and I went through and I did everything, got all the little stuff because it hooked me, and I was like, I like this world. The Watch Dogs one was just it's cool. It's an interesting story about revenge.
Experience the story.
Yeah, I experienced the story. I'm done. I don't want to go back.
What about you guys? Anything?
We've got one more on here. I see Halo 5.
Oh yeah,
and I am actually getting more excited about that.
I just enjoyed. Hopefully they still keep the standard co-op. I just enjoy the co-op. I was never a big Halo multiplayer. Back in the day,
I was.
Back in the day when Halo was a thing, Halo 1 and even a little bit of Halo 2. Yeah, just because you get together, you'd land it, you'd play, what was it, Gulch or whatever? Blood Gulch, and you just have your huge, and just have giant battles, and, we'd go to Shama's house, and we'd all be playing all that stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Once 3, I just never got, the Halo multiplayer was never... But the single player, I've always really enjoyed. Especially the co-op. The story's good. Playing it together. Addison and I went through... We beat 3, right?
We beat 4.
We beat 4, yeah. And so
we've beat them all. But
just going through all of that was a lot of fun. And
the thing for me about Halo is the controls feel so shit all the time. I love the games. They're so much fun playing them. But, you're... aim is almost too perfect, and the animation of you holding your gun is very Doom-like in that it's just there and it moves with you as you move, and your jumps are you float, and I'm used to Battlefield, I'm used to Insurgency where you can't jump 2 car lengths in the sky. You actually can maybe slide across the hood and not fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're running, your gun's like this, whereas in Halo with your running, your gun's just like this. It's not what I'm used to, but it is still the OG sci-fi shooter.
Yes.
Right? The story is getting really crazy now, such that I have went on the Halo wiki and am now a legendary knowledge guy. It's inspired me since I was a child. It has the same level of sentimentality, and that I'm going to play it as I stuck through all of Naruto, and I... You know what I'm saying? So the issue is it's going to be Xbox One only. Fuck you, Microsoft. Put it on the goddamn PC.
Yeah.
You have no excuses now except for trying to sell more of your Xbox Ones, which they're increasing the price for back from their price cut, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed that, but
I can't believe them. They're so stupid.
We'll get that next, because that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. But yes, Halo 5 I think looks really good. I was deep into Halo 2's multiplayer. I had that's when I got my first Xbox Live account. That was I played the shit out of it, and I got super into it. And then Halo 3 I did not like as much, and everything since then has not been as good. But Halo 2's multiplayer was the shit. Halo 5's multiplayer looks completely different and new.
It looks way quick now.
Really quick. And they're making it very competitive. They're actually focusing on it as an esport.
Well, they're trying to put COD out of that fucking...
I don't know. I just have never... I enjoyed it a lot when we played, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 together and stuff like that.
God, that was so funny.
But it's never... It's fun to play with friends, but I've never been able to... It's never enthralled me enough to be I need to hop on Halo multiplayer right now and, play and, get my rank up.
Halo's, the culture there is not one of teamwork. It's, do you remember when we would play COD 3 versus 3s on that fucking map, and you're just always calling out a corner and follow me or whatever,
Yeah.
or playing Battlefield 3 where we had Karg Island to like specific coordinate point callouts kind of things.
Yeah.
Like Halo doesn't have that. It's like, who can get to the battle rifle first? You win. You know, like,
definitely.
it just doesn't have the same amount of like required interaction to be fun that the other games do, and we're very tactically teamwork oriented people. So,
And I've been hearing more that there's more call-outs that the Spartans talk to
no,
each
they
other
do.
in
I
game
actually
now,
watched a multiplayer clip of people playing Halo 5. You will probably want to watch it during the intermission between the two podcasts, but it's very like they will auto call out like, hey, guys under the bridge, when you start shooting at them and stuff like,
Yeah.
or when you like zoom in on someone and you just see their shoulder, will be like, hey, get some cover, there's a guy behind there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's it seems organic, but I think that's going to end up being more of a problem than a feature, because like Battlefield has that too, and it just gets you killed all the time. Your dude points, he's like, there's a dude over there. Well, now I just heard your enemy fucking voice. I'm gonna find you and kill you. Like,
yeah, exactly.
but also, I mean, maybe not for Halo, since it's a lot more like arena based, right?
Yeah.
You just both spawn at equal ends of a circle and try and kill
go
each
at
other.
it,
There's no like objective of map to be gained or anything like this.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Xbox One going back up to $400. That is unprecedented thus far for consoles.
Well, they just did it because they wanted to beat Sony for the holidays. It's unabashed and it's fucking shameless.
which they usually do. They always drop their price around November, right? They slash it by like $50. But to bring it back up to $400 seems like suicide to me. And they already committed
It's not.
suicide once.
They've already fucking got all the people who are going to buy one, right? I mean,
Yeah,
The
I don't
only
really,
people-
to be honest, the market, they've been out for long enough now that anyone who buys this stuff is all like replacements or just some douche, just like us. We're just super laggers, you know. Like they're not gonna like the majority of the console sales are probably over right now. So
Yeah.
and they came out on top because they were willing to cut. I don't think PS4 cut.
But you just referred to them as stupid motherfuckers for going back up in price. So
Well,
what's your
it's
problem
just
with that?
my problem is that it's. I mean, I'm no fan of the typical corporate mentality, and that's just what that is. It's like, well, the holiday season's over, objective accomplished. Why would I leave the price down? Why wouldn't I keep this accessible to more people? Now, fuck them. I'm going to raise the price if you want to buy it. Either wait for the next holiday season, where we're going to either jump in numbers, or pay full price for it, which I'm not going to do. Unless there's another deal that comes out wherein I'm going to get like 2 games, 2 controllers, and an Xbox One without the Kinect for the $400 price, I will never buy one. I will not do it. I can't. You already raised the price of games for a generation that didn't deserve it. You raise the price of your consoles, bring it down, raising them again for a generation that so far doesn't fucking deserve it. Like,
well, games are still $60, right? That's how removed I am, by the way, from the console thing. I mean, I've been on my PC for so long now that I just
so your base game is $60. Every game that comes out has a $10 plus
deluxe version
that has some day one DLC that's on the disc, but you got to pay $10 to unlock it. Like, I don't know. I think the industry is starting to get a little like robber barony. I don't think they understand where the boundaries are anymore, and it's just going to keep people like me away. And unfortunately, I'm not like a lot of people, so they're never going to care.
They're not going to change.
They're not going to change. No.
All right.
So,
are we missing anything?
No,
We can talk about how 2014 was the year of broken games. About how every game.
Well,
came
everyone
out
knows that,
plugged
right?
to
I mean,
shit.
I just think that
that's just
with more and more with having these online releases, having games be able to purchase digitally. If you have a game that's in a CD that you're being paid for, like it's really hard to fix that, you know. So you have to get it right, otherwise you're going to return it. But now that you have it where it's like, I download directly to my PC on day one. Oh, there's a bug here, like we can patch it and like whatever. We can send an internet patch and fix it. So it's not right, but because of that, they're more willing to release buggy things because they know they can fix it. And people won't return their games because of that.
Someone tell me one game this year that didn't have a fucking day one patch on it.
Trying to think of what I bought and played. I don't think Watch Dogs did.
I would be surprised if that was true.
I mean, not when I played. I didn't buy it from day one though. That's
what I'm
But
saying.
every game got patched when you'd be
can you not just fucking complete the game and then sell it, please?
Yeah.
Don't give me a buggy game and then sell me the rest of the game in DLC. Fuck you. It's that simple.
Well, and they would. Yeah, every game that you get, I mean, like, you're right, like, has some kind of patch available for it. Even if it's not, like, a patch that came out later. Like, on day one, there's going to be a patch to fix a bunch of things that they didn't fix before launch. That's definitely true.
Which, why? Day one is your fucking launch. Just have it be in the thing I'm downloading anyways. Like...
Yeah.
The thing is, I understand why that happens. I work in the software world. It's not uncommon for that to happen. But if I was to release software to the Navy... I was going to claim that it was a production piece of software, and it was buggy. I'm sure someone will shoot me. I mean, they will just go out of their way to make sure you don't get the next contract, right? Yeah. Like, but there's no. I hate to say it because everyone says this and it will never happen. But unless you actually vote with your wallet by not buying the fucking games from these companies, nothing will change. They have no incentive to change because they know that they can release Battlefield 3.5, call it Battlefield 4, and it's just made of bugs. And I paid $120 fucking for that game, and I still don't feel like it's worth it, even though it's been fixed. Like I don't know. It's getting ridiculous, and it will never change.
And the thing is, there's some games that came out like completely broken, like the Master Chief Collection. Like I didn't play it
the
broken,
matchmaking
but
that.
Yeah, but it
Sims
was
3?
completely broken. Sims 3,
or just The Sims,
the
Sim
City,
City.
The new one that came out.
Completely
Yeah.
broken.
Sims 3, yeah.
Completely broken. Like games that they're releasing that are just
the Sim City was broken by design. I mean, EA made a real stalwart choice in just making sure that game was shitty at launch.
why?
So tell me this, Steve. You are playing a game where you're building a city. Does that need to be always online?
No.
Oh, but yes, it does. John Riccatello says it does.
Yeah.
The
He got
stupid
fired.
idiot at fucking Maxis who's trying to claim responsibility for all this shit and say it's by design, she certainly thinks it does. When you can go into the game files and turn it off and play in offline mode.
Yeah.
Do you think it might make sense for citizens in your city to have persistent homes instead of just taking the first job that they can walk to and then taking the first home that they get back?
Is that what happens?
Yes. The AI in that
I never
game,
played it, but
it's fucking garbage. And like, they came out and they tried so hard to defend it. Like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. Sorry. Isn't this how your life works in real life? Like, don't you just drive to the first help wanted sign, work there for a day, and then drive back to the first house that you come across and live there?
Would the AI change homes and jobs every day?
Well, yeah, you could. Depending on who like spawned with a car that day, you could see a guy like you would see someone walk out of a rich person's house, but the dude who comes from the poor neighborhood with his junker car will get a white collar job first, and then he'll drive back to the rich person's house, and that's his house now. Like all the pathfinding AI was terrible. Like it didn't have any load balancing. So if you had a road that split into like a road and a highway, everyone will always take the highway because it's faster, but to the point of traffic jams, and not a single person will use the road. They'll go straight to where they're going. They'd rather go on the highway, turn around on the off-ramp, and come down from the other way, instead of just being like, I'm going to take a right today, you know?
So, along with bugs, then, let's talk about the worst game of 2014. Could it have been SimCity?
I think SimCity was 2013,
was it?
in all fairness, but I'm still bitter about that, because I loved SimCity 4 so
it's
much.
50% off Origin right now.
I know.
$19.89.
I'm still never going to buy it.
When did it come out?
I think it's 2013.
Probably.
At the top?
That's not right. December 16th, 2014? Latest release. Oh, SimCity Build It.
Yeah. At the top in the disambiguation thing. Right
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah.
2013.
Okay, 2013. So that doesn't
regardless,
count,
but that's still an EA, like, it's just indicative of their
Do we
whole-
have a worst game of 2014?
See, unfortunately, I didn't play enough games to, like, know what it was. I was going to say Kenshi.
I wasn't really happy with I shouldn't have expected it to be much
Elder
better. Elder
Scrolls
Scrolls
Online
Online was kind of shitty.
Was bad.
Fuck you. Bethesda.
So-
You're so stupid.
Like,
I'm so-
I
They
knew,
published it,
I,
they didn't
I,
use it.
but it's their IP that they could have said no.
I didn't feel. I kind of
of
knew, like, deep down inside, it wasn't going to be good because
Well, no,
Bethesda
there was no
wasn't
way.
because Bethesda wasn't making it. You're giving it to a third party. You're just putting your stamp on it, and like literally, like every MMO that's come out since WoW has just been pretty bad. So I'm sitting here going, like, I really want this to do well, but like deep down inside, I was like, and then obviously it was really shitty. So
I
that
would
really-
much have.
that really like
I would
made
have
me sad.
preferred that they spent time on Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And give me the actual conflict between the Aldmer and Skyrim
Yes.
that I want, not giving it to me in shite DLC format for a shittier MMO. I don't want to play an MMO ever. I don't want to do it. But these companies seems to think, or these companies.
I like
seem to think-
MMOs. I just don't think none of them do. I don't know. It's just tough because like you have to have such a
Oh
good
my
game.
God.
What the fuck is that?
Rambo the
What the fuck? It looks awful.
Yeah. Hey yo, there was like this game.
Basement
Clouds!
That's horrifying. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man games never do well.
I never. Yeah, I don't put a lot of
Letter.
stock.
Wii U games.
These are just like what I
That's
wonder when
just
this is.
5.
October 24th.
We're looking at a list of some websites' worst games of 2014.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I think
I feel
the
like-
worst game of 2014 for me, and I didn't play it, but it would have to be Assassin's Creed.
Unity.
Yeah.
Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed
I didn't
number
play it
18.
either because it was so
when you
bad.
day one have a fucking like microtransaction for $100 for hack bucks for fucking your game, I'm sorry, but I have no respect for you whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't think these companies understand that most people don't want annualized releases. I don't
No,
want.
and I was
I
worried
want
about
people
that.
to take their time, and even the shitty like compromise model that Call of Duty has, where it's like 3 companies working on 3-year cycles or whatever
Yeah.
to put out a game every year. I still think it's a failure because these are not 3 companies of equal caliber.
No.
They do not have the same amount of talent. They certainly don't produce the same like caliber of game.
Yeah.
Like, I am okay, Bethesda, I'm talking straight to your fucking earpiece right now. Please take as long as you want for the next Elder Scrolls game.
Yes.
Don't make it an MMO. In fact, probably strip away all, like, unknowledge that ever existed. Because
Yeah.
it's just going to poison my fucking experience in the next game. Because here's the thing. When they make the next Elder Scrolls single-player game, it almost has to have the story from the MMO integrated in it. Guess what I'm not going to know anything about?
Yeah. Well, you
You know?
read it on the wiki.
Fuck that. I don't want to know that thing even exists. I forgot until today.
Yeah.
And,
And so did I. And so did I.
Just-
But,
well, that's
like-
I'm just saying we were talking
Yeah, it was
about
pretty
disappointing
I
games. That was
am
a pretty bad
okay
game.
with like a 3-year development cycle or something. One game at a time, though. Like I'll
Yeah.
wait 9 years for a good COD because I've spent the last 9 years with bad ones. You know, like
When you bring out a game every single year, like the perfect thing with Assassin's Creed, I remember reading when it was right after Assassin's Creed 3 had come out, and there was rumors that Ubisoft was going to start doing serialized Assassin's Creed releases. Every year they were going to do an Assassin's Creed. And I got really depressed because, I mean, for most obviously, when you release a game every year, it sucks. Because you're pushing yourself, like you're struggling. Like it's already hard enough to develop. One game.
Nothing gets new. What's the complaint about Call of Duty? It's the same game. Well, yeah, because you have
the
1
same
year.
complaints
It
for Assassin's Creed.
takes
Fucking
a
yeah.
year to just make these maps and all the achievements, all that stuff,
And
and
then
then
art assets.
that's a year right there. So to do that, to get it out in a year, that means you literally just made new levels, right?
Yeah.
And new designs, but you didn't actually alter any like story or gameplay because you
when
don't have the time in a
story,
year.
you just
Right.
you change some names.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's the
it.
thing, and that's with like that was
For a
the
story
primary
that
thing. I
people
was like,
didn't really like in the first fucking place.
well, see, I like their story. I know I'm in the minority among our group. I like the story of Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and even 3.
One and two are okay. Once they got into like aliens, I started to go, this is a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little weird, but I was still with it until the end of 3. But then, you know, Assassin's Creed 4 came out, and I didn't have the money to play it. And now Assassin's Creed Unity is out.
Which one was? See, I even lost
Assassin's
track.
Creed 4 is Black Flag.
Black
and I was
Flag.
like,
Wait,
it's fucking
but that's
rad.
not. That's not 4. That's like 4. That's like
the
a deal.
only
I don't know.
That's the only good Assassin's Creed. like multiple people are like, yeah, I played every game. The only one I really actually like in hindsight is Black Flag. 'Cause it's the only one that tries to be different from the last fucking game. Like,
and so I should play Black Flag, but it's like I was a diehard Assassin's Creed fan, especially with 2. I loved 2, and then 3, like I played it, enjoyed it. And then they just brought another one out so quick. Like, I like waiting 2 years for a game. I like the anticipation. It's like, if you brought an Avengers movie out every year, it's probably not going to be as good. Like, it's that having to wait 2 years for the next one. Well, because so you know it's going to be
I'm going to piss a lot of people in this table, meaning you two. So what do you guys say about Pokemon coming out with a new game every year?
Is it every year?
Yeah, they've had a new one every year.
I mean, it's
not new, but like so this year came out with like Uber Sapphire and Uber Red or whatever.
Yes, and I have them.
Yeah,
and there was
guess how much I've played them?
5 minutes.
Forever minutes.
More than that, but less than an hour.
Well, I know.
For me,
so there's like there's X and Y. There's Black and White. There's Black and White 2.
And there's so many.
There's
of them,
There's all the old ones got remakes. I'm just saying, like, I kind of fell off the Pokemon bandwagon a couple years ago, to be honest. Like, I actually own Black and White right now, or was it X and Y? I own one of those, and it hasn't even been opened. Like, I have it sitting in my, like, desk.
I left my Pokemon White at my family's cabin in Colorado, and I was like,
I absolutely adored, like, all the way, like, I played Red and Blue, and I loved Yellow.
Yeah,
like, call me a Pokemon, but I just loved having that Pikachu follow you around.
Yeah, Yellow's the shit.
That's
why I loved Heart Gold and Silver.
I loved Gold and Silver. I loved Ruby and Sapphire. I played Sapphire, like, probably the most. And then after that, the game just never changed for me.
And it has not changed.
I know they say that's what they want. And I know there's minor parts to it, and there's more diversity, and there's a little more selection, but I don't know, something about the Pokemon, like, the new one came out, and I remember thinking, like, oh, there's a new one now. Oh, the Ruby, the Sapphire, and the Ruby, like, the updated version, I was like, oh, like, I didn't even know this was...
Well, so the difference is, in the old days, they would hype up a Pokemon game, like, a year before it was going to come out. And now I learned about Omega Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire, Omega
Alpha Centauri, Ruby,
Greek gems.
Yeah,
I learned about them, and then like 3 months later, I had one. There's no time for me to like digest it. I don't even know what's different about it.
I don't know.
The only thing I do know is that their stupid, fucked up version of the EXP share is still in there and comes on by default. Yeah. Where my party, by fighting, is already like the level I need to take on the 4th gym, and I'm on the 2nd one.
Yeah.
Like,
there's just
no fun for it.
There's just something about too, like, the first one, you knew all the Pokemon. It was new. I loved it. Like, something, every time I see a new Pokemon get made, I don't know if, like, just because I'm older now, and, like, when, it was, like, 3rd grade when I started playing the first one. The original one. And so, it could be when I'm older, but seriously, like, you're looking at these new Pokemon that are popping up, and you're just like, I'm like Pigletty-Doo, and it's just like, a Piglet,
that's been the complaint
they brought in the fairy type, they pretty much fucking...
I don't know, it just seems so unoriginal all of a sudden, and so, like, it just seems like now there's like 800 goddamn Pokemon. You can't, some of them overlap, some of them don't. You're like, my Pokedex is impossible to
fill. Draw? How many? I mean, tell me that. I mean, the dude's job is to pick an element, find a pun name,
exactly,
and then try and make that real. But the art has to reflect the element, so. Of course, every grass Pokemon has to be made of leaves in some fashion.
Yeah.
There's a fucking Pokemon who's a Brontosaurus with a banana waddle who has palm tree leaves for wings. Ketsugimori. Okay. He's a badass. He's like the first grass flying Tropius, but still, like, there's only so far you can go where. But the thing is, he's got that job on lock. He's gonna have it forever. So they're gonna keep coming.
I almost wish they would just stop with the new Pokemon. Just
take 3 years and make a Pokemon for the Wii U.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just do what we're saying. Like, change it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a brand new game, but just make something in there that just makes it slightly different. Because I've gone through the start from scratch Pokemon Trainer, Professor Oak or Professor Tree or Professor Birch.
What's your name? What's your rival's
or
name?
Professor Peach. I want them to. I don't want to choose a black.
Oh, so his name is.
maybe
You have
you're
to
like,
bleep those out.
yeah, maybe this new one you get dropped on a desert island and the first Pokemon you find is your Pokemon partner and you go, I don't know, just like make it different. Like, don't choose your.
Well, yeah, give me a Pokemon adventure game.
Yeah,
Pokemon XD Shadows of Darkness, Addison Waldo. Gale of Darkness.
Gale of Darkness and Colossus of
Oh,
of Shadow.
by the way, can we have a new Shadow Colossus game, please?
They're supposed to have one. But
You mean
it's
from
never gonna
that
come out
developer,
yet.
or just another Shadow of the Colossus like sequel?
Well,
I would
a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I would prefer to be the same developer, but I would.
What's The Last Guardian was canceled and then not canceled,
Yep,
so
I know.
it'll never.
I
come
just
out.
really enjoy Shadow of the Colossus. That's
How
one of those
about,
games.
let's get to brass tacks here. Let's have another fucking Golden Sun or another Final
Yeah.
Fantasy Tactics or any
I
like.
did enjoy Golden Sun, although we will say there was
There was a Golden Sun that came out recently.
Yeah,
but
so of which fuck them for not letting me go back and get the gyms I
The
missed.
one
the one when I
Mercury
missed on the
gym.
fucking ladder and the goddamn like
On the bridge.
in the bridge. Yeah,
But here's the thing, like, I don't think these companies understand the ripe timing. If you gave me a Fire Emblem game on the Wii U, I will not leave my house until I've beaten it. I never beat Awakening completely.
it's just.
But because you have so much more power there, you don't have to use shitty models whose feet are just points that end in the ground.
Yeah.
Like, give me a Golden Sun, because Golden Sun's graphics for the day were insane.
Yeah, they were fucking stellar.
crazy. If you can give me the actual, like, Final Fantasy OG treatment on the Wii U, you have a game that I will play every day for the rest of my life.
It's just tough because like the way the industry is like so many games actually don't do well. Like
Oh, I know. Golden Sun never does
like
well.
games are actually like doing pretty poorly. Like it's actually kind of like the movie industry where like a lot of these big budget games tend to do really poorly now because these budgets have just gotten way out of scale.
Well, when you have
And so-
half of your budget is devoted to fucking marketing.
Yeah, well, but so the point remains that it's really difficult for new IPs to come about, and I know that those are existing IPs, but like
I was like, those are OG
no, those are
IPs.
old IPs, but like to be honest, like they're so like when's the last like literally all the new Nintendo games come out, or it's gonna be a Mario game. There's always gonna be Mario. It's gonna be a Zelda game.
Well,
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like
that's all they can do.
Well, yeah, but those are I mean, Golden Sun is a Nintendo property, and so they are. They have to decide. We can either release a new Mario goes to another version of space or another dimension, or Mario, or Golden Sun, and they're just going to default to Mario because it's to put all that money into production of a game and then not get their money back is pretty common. So that's why I feel like it's so hard for them to release like new good
even the guy who
IPs. Like even when's the last time a new
makes
Metroid
Golden
came
Sun.
out? Like.
Like a few
Prime
years
2
ago.
or other M.
Yeah, like when's
other end.
and Samus is a huge part. When's the last? I mean, Kirby I guess is coming out recently, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of games that.
Well, the problem that Nintendo has is they have a lot of first-party games, and they're all non-substantive. They're not fun, really. Like, I yearn for the days of fucking Metroid Fusion, the worst of the Metroid games. Still funner than any other Metroid game that's come out since then.
Yeah.
Like, I think they have an opportunity here to bring a lot of those things back to life, but why do you keep picking Mario? I fucking hate Mario. I hate him. If you're gonna give me a new Mario IP, make it like Waluigi the princess or something.
Okay.
I need something different than the same.
And Mario
How many
Mario
fucking
dispenses
times-
street justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a game version of There Will Be Brawl.
Yeah.
Right? That would be fucking
Fucking
awesome.
nuts. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's. I mean, the guy who makes Golden Sun came out and said, "Yeah, we're never doing another one of these
That's
because
sad.
they don't make any money." But that means people like me, I just have grown to hate Nintendo. I will never. The last time I got a Mario game was the one that came with my Wii U that I don't play.
Yeah.
I would gladly crack the disc in half if Claire didn't have so much fun playing it.
All right. I think that's probably good for the
Yeah,
first
I think
episode
we
of
can-
Game SAK.
We can leave it there.
And there will be more to talk about next week. For sure. So I'm not sure when this is going to go up for the first time.
I need some editing, I think. There's been some bad words said.
Yeah.
Are we editing bad words?
Yes. Some
Certain
bad
ones,
words.
yeah.
Ones
Probably.
that are tasteless, but in common usage.
Yeah. All right. So that is Game SAK for this week. I'm Steve.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Ken.
Everyone have a wonderful week and go play some games.
I